welcome to Men of Change podcast. My name is Jabu Zwane. Thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, in this podcast, this is where us men, we learn to become the men that we want to be, and of course, be part of the change that we want to see in society. Much appreciate your support. If you enjoyed the last episode and you have not done the clicking thing, please, this is the opportunity. Click on the notification bell, click on the subscribe button. This, of course, helps us to get the message to as many of you as we possibly can. And of course, please let us know what you think about what you've heard so far. And where we are able to, we'll be able to respond to you and engage with you further. Well, without further ado, I am so excited once again to be having with me someone that I really have great respect for. He really is a men's man. He really is very much passionate about matters that really impact men, and he's got a very unique perspective in terms of how he brings about these issues. I was introduced to him by one of my colleagues in speaking. We were hosting what we call the Safe Man campaign last year, where we were trying to reach up to 50,000 men in a live. And this one lady says to me, listen, there's this gentleman that you got to hear. Here he's TikTok handle. And I will check it out. The Rated R Bishop. And I wanted to know, what does the R stand for? So today we're going to know what does the R in the Rated R stand for. But when I listened, I was really touched. I was touched by his simplicity in bringing across very difficult experiences for us as men. But more than that, there's a very unique way of bringing things across. And I looked at his surname, I realized, Mafu, actually we are cousin, as Zwanes, we are cousin clans. We are connected. So, without wasting any time, with me this today, I don't know whether it's afternoon or morning, wherever you may be, is Brother Vincent, the Bishop, the Rated R Bishop.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to be here.
It's a great pleasure to have you, man. It's really a great pleasure. I'm so excited actually to have you to be chatting about manhood, because you really, your videos go wild online. You see men crying there, you see men swearing, you see men getting very aggressive, some being very appreciative. And I'd like us to really get into the thick of things. First of all, who are you?
I'm a father.
Yes.
And I'm a husband. Mm-hmm. Those are my two greatest accolades, if I can call them that.
Yes.
The rest is anything. I'm a father to a very beautiful set of kids. I have 4 kids, 3 of my own with my wife, 1 that's adopted. I have a beautiful wife as well.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Very beautiful wife.
She was here either. Yes.
Yes. So that's but I'm a minister of the Word of God as well. Mm-hmm. And I'm a therapist.
Yes.
I think I am an author.
I know you are an author because you brought me some gifts, by the way. Can I please have my gifts before you leave with them?
Thank you, sir.
All
Just
right.
a few. Thank you.
When you see significance, sometimes the only cure for a bad man is a better one. Yeah, check it out, guys. That's mine, not yours. If you want yours, you know what to do. And I also like this one, a victim of divine assignment. Keys to conquering the most gruesome battles of your life. How befitting that we're talking about the 12 battles of a man today.
Come on, sir.
Come on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Same frequency. That's your word.
Yes, sir.
Frequency.
I've been in trouble for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Why did you write the books? Let's start with the one. Which one did you write first?
The one I wrote first was Significant. Significance is a book for women. Mm-hmm. Those are my notes when I was early in my counseling years.
Okay.
I found myself counseling women. Mm-hmm. And there was a similar thread of the abuse, the pain that women were going through.
Yes.
So with their permission, I began to take their notes and I formulated a manual for healing while you read. So if you look at the manner in which I wrote that book, mm-hmm. It's not in a way where you can share it with another woman. It's literally, I wrote that book over 22 years ago. So it's like a journaling. Yeah, you are journaling like your healing. So that is a book for healing pain. and the brokenness of women in different fashions and forms. So I talk about different scenarios. I also took biblical women and paralleled them to hide the actual women I was writing about. So I picked up a biblical woman with that type of pathology. I wrote them, stretched them, and made them rated R.
I see. I like chapter 3, boys, dogs, and men. It's one of the chapters here. Yes. This is already like the chapters are already so.
We say, beware the dogs. Beware the dogs.
Beware the dogs.
You were talking about them before.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
And the second book?
That's the last book I wrote. I've written 8. I just brought you 2. I wrote one, The Demons in a Man's Mind, which I didn't bring here. It's very hectic. Very, very hectic. And I think sometimes it's too rated R, but we've toned it down 3 versions. That's a book for healing, particularly the African male. I had to specify that as much as it's a book for men, the historicity that we've gone through in breaking down and dismantling manhood is different. I think our history in our makeup is important. History denotes mystery. So we all can have the same attack even from the enemy, but it has a historic context. There are things the enemy can throw at you that may not work at a white man, even if you're a man, without bringing stigma or the racial card. But I'm talking about the color of an attack. It has color, it has context, it has depth, it has a history. So, you know, the dentists want to know your history.
Yes.
So that's very important. So I wrote The Demons in a Man's Mind because every man has a demon that he must conquer. And it's not the demons that we see that they manifest. Those are the demons that silently control you.
Sure.
And you may not even know that these are the demons in your man's mind from your father, from your grandfather, and they are subliminally acting in your life.
Sure.
Then I have this one is a victim of divine assignment. At the highest pinnacle of my ministry, at that time I had a church, I came across the most gruesome battle of my life, the battle of dealing with myself. When I wrote The Demons in a Man's Mind, my psychologist asked me a question. He says, why do you have this passive hatred for homosexuality? Says, I'm finding like the way you wrote, I wasn't attacking homosexuals, I don't do that, but the way you wrote, please look into it. I wasn't aware. Until I discovered after some time that, okay, the proclivity to express myself that way is because at the age of 36, I discovered that I had been molested in my own life. Sure. And I only came to that realization at the age of 36.
Wow.
And that for me changed my perspective of understanding myself. Because as men, we bury things that we don't want to confront. Men hate confrontation, especially things where we don't have answers to. So we bury behind the accolades of success.
Sure.
You know, you're addicted to working. I love traveling, conference traveling. I'm always on the pulpit because I'm addicted to the high that I translate as ministry.
Sure.
When in reality it's actually a high for me, because that's the only time that I have a phone booth to be Superman. Walking down the pulpit becomes difficult because now I have to deal with being normal Clark Kent. And that normalcy was very depressing for me. You would find me after a successful sermon on Sunday. Ask my wife, you'll find me in the bedroom depressed. And I'm wondering why.
That's very interesting. You know, I actually read something quite a while back, the study of championships. And they say that a lot of people that have won championships, after they've won the championship, whether they've gone to the Olympics or whatever, after that they get depressed. They would go into a serious period of depression. As a matter of fact, when they study teams that have won previous year's championships, the next year, they don't win. They don't even make it to the quarterfinals.
That's hectic.
Because of just the burden, just the pressure of, you know, I suppose they drop from high up there and going down there and having to come back up again.
Actually, I think that you're saying something so profound. That's a principle I've seen in life. Many people prepare for winning, but they don't prepare for after winning. So I know how to win, I know how to get, I know how to pursue, but I don't know what to do after.
Once
the culture
received it.
Yes, the success culture. I have the preparation culture, the pursuit culture. That is why I read, and this is perhaps one of the plagues of Africa. We don't have a maintenance culture. I think that is where the enemy has hit us more. We can get a good woman, but we don't know how to maintain a happy woman and maintain her. Miles Monroe said something powerful about his wife Ruth. She was the foundation of his success. She found him a trench boy, funded him in school. He made a promise to her: "You will never work for anybody else than me, and I will reward you." And he says this: "Look at her now. She's better than where I found her." Black people enter a neighborhood. The culture goes down. The rates go down because we know how to buy a beautiful house. We don't have the maintenance culture of that house. So you find that as people, particularly black men, we know how to hunt, but we don't know how to remain silent after the hunt. They say lions don't roar after the hunt. We roar even when we've made a kill. Lions don't roar after a kill. They're silent. But we still roar after the kill because we don't have that maintenance culture. We are not taught. We don't have the grooming. We don't have the mirroring of, look at African states after colonial, pre-colonial, and everything. Yes, we come into power, we take, but the maintenance culture is something the enemy has deprived from us. And it's not a white man's problem. It's our problem. And if we realize this, that we've been deprived of a maintenance. That's a very heavy thing that I'm studying now. Is your wife happier now than when she had before? If we talk about maintenance culture, it's not about her gaining weight. It's about happiness, but happiness must be maintained.
And the things that you've quite gathered, I mean, this is quite challenging to me. I'm not going to lie to you. And part of it is that I think I heard you say that before, and I had a little bit of reflection around the whole maintenance culture. And I think in my reflections, I realized the chase gave me something to look forward to. But once I sort of acquired what I felt was, in a way, enough, now in retrospect, I realized I didn't look after. I didn't look after, whether it was the houses, whether it was the cars, whether it was the garden, whether it was something that I just wasn't there for me.
Yeah.
I never connected it to that, but I think it's something worth thinking about a little bit about. Once you have acquired, once God has put you in the palace,
don't bring peasant behavior, into the palace.
Do you know how to be a king?
We don't.
Or do you still behave like a slave?
Yeah.
And a peasant in the palace?
Yes, sir.
On the throne.
Yeah.
But let's go straight into what I wanted to, the battles again. I think it's a big part of the Man of Change is these 12 battles. And I think you've touched on quite a lot already on them, starting with this whole battle of identity. What are your thoughts around how a man wrestles with his own identity? Have you wrestled with it? Do you have a clear understanding yourself of who are you as a man?
It took me time. Most men don't do the battle of identity because we got our identities from wrong sources. And if you read scripture and you find a man called Jacob, and his mother said he's Jacob, but the books of the curriculums of grace said he's Israel. So his life was a contradiction of what he was called on earth and what was recorded in the books of purpose. And the conflict between what he's living because of what someone said it causes a nebulous feeling. He's acting in the behavior of what they said he is, but he's not yet discovered the nebulous potential that's still boiling in his bowels. So he had to try and steal it. He had to try and be a con man, a con artist, and con his father, con his brother, trying to get something that he knows that they are calling me something that I feel I'm not. And this is the conflict of men. When you are someone whom you feel like it's conflicting with your inner identity. Identity is something every man must battle to discover. It is not something that you grow and become. Unfortunately, because we have no rites of passage, we don't have proper sources of origin, sources of legacy. Our families have no legacy to pass down because God is a God of family. God doesn't give Zwane a new purpose. God gives the Zwane clan a purpose that the Zwanes execute. You will not have a strange assignment more than where God put you. You are a Levite. That's the assignment. You are Judah. God just looks at the family, packages it. You're a royal house, royalty, breed leadership for a nation. So God operates in families. We operate as individuals. So I want to have some unique purpose of my life that you don't understand, that when God gives the identity of a person is within the hive of their family. You vandalize a person's family. You have removed the curriculum of who they are, the blueprint. And that's what we don't have. Now, I came to scripture and I said, Jacob is struggling to understand himself. Then he chases his wives, chases everybody else, and says, I gotta understand who I am, until he had to fight an invisible being. For one thing, he was not fighting for a blessing. He was fighting for identity. He gets there and says, I want, bless me. But your father blessed you, but you stole it from the brother. He understood that, it is a blessing, but it's not fulfilling. We have to realize that a BMW, a beautiful car, a beautiful house, and all this can be blessings, but true blessing is when you know who you are. The angel asks him, who are you? He says, I'm Jacob. He says, no, if we check the social security number of heaven, if we check the ID books of heaven, that does not exist. You are not Jacob. You are Israel. You are a prince. You are the one that literally cements the vision of your great-grandfather. You are the one that literally cements it. At that time, the scriptures say, he fought for it. He wrestled and says, bless me. Each man has to have an encounter, mostly with their father, if your father knew, or grandfather, to say, who am I? Who am I means who are we? Because you cannot answer who am I without answering, who are we? What do we stand for? Where do we come from? What is in our blood? The things you are passionate about and the things you love doing, the things you do organically, innately, are invitations to a greater conversations to say, look deeper into this thing. You might find your identity in what you are good at naturally. So identity is something a man battles to find. It's not something that happens organically or by osmosis. And many of us have circled for illusions of false success and called it arrival, and find people committing suicide with accolades of music or Reiki, killing yourself at the height of your career. You don't understand that there is an internal battle for identity. We are born in a world where identity is no longer important. Just performance, not presence.
Uniformity.
To conformity. But now the unfortunate thing is that the thing God put in you as a man will bother you until you take your life and you check out, or you die fighting. But when it comes to identity, it's a battle. It's a battle that you may lose everything you have. It's how bad you want to know who you are. And unfortunately, when it comes to us black brothers, we have a survival mode mentality, so much that these false illusions of success create one-time success, big show men that come, vanish, evaporate, because we don't want to literally enter into a deeper conversation of saying, who am I? Because who you are is who you pour to your sons. Right now, our sons have no man to speak into their lives. The Bible, you'll always find men going back to their father. Tell me, who am I? Look into my heart. Even Christ could not operate here without his identity being affirmed by his father. This is my son in whom I am well pleased. And that is the craving of all men, to be validated by a father, to say, you are this. Genesis 49, you've got a man sitting on a deathbed. All those brothers are coming in for one thing, to hear an old man coughing, living in the sunset stage of his life. Tell me who I am. They're all walking in, and you hear you saying, my father is a dog. My father was a player. My father. Do you realize how disconnected you are from yourself? Because the very source of saying you are a dog is what you are. And I've seen people become what they hate because they've never investigated what made you the way you are. So the battle for identity, of walking into a room of an old gray hair that looks into you and can even tell you your future, you are Gad. You know, when you study that scripture, it says you are Gad. He's talking a 2000-year prophecy that a troop shall try to capture you, but at last you shall prevail. And then you find Jesus going to Gadarenes. That prophecy was spoken by an old man dying on a bed that knew that there is a time that you'll be captured out of your home, but you shall be restored. That's when you see Jesus doing Gadarenes and Legion. That was spoken by Jacob, sitting on his bed, looking at his cousin. Be careful, because I am seeing this. If your father didn't see anything in you, you're probably looking at it from the skirts of a woman, you're looking from a nightclub, you're looking from, because you're trying to fill a void of a voice, and life has invoiced you to live a reckless life, rascality, because you never got the time to look into your father's eyes and mirror back who you ought to be. That is identity, sir. And your identity is within the loins that brought you into this earth.
Sure.
That's where God put the scrolls of your future.
I mean, I find what you're saying so fascinating, especially about Christ, because one of the things you learn in Matthew is that it speaks of the lineage,
Yes,
pointing back to where he comes from. And it's interesting. And I said this, I think, in the pre-launch episode, just how fascinating to me that in the African culture, when a child starts to show any developmental challenges, whether it's cognitive challenges or any kind of abnormalities around their behavior, one of the first things that people want to know is that, especially if there's no father, has the child been taken to go see
his people?
Yes. I think I found that quite fascinating. But I think more than that, I wanted to talk a little bit about, we have this crisis in our country. And the reality of it is that we have a history where 70% of our fathers could not be there, especially during the time of apartheid.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, even though it came through those tragic circumstances, it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, it becomes something that is the norm. And even after apartheid, a lot of men still don't feel comfortable being at home and being present in their sons' lives, in their children's lives. Yeah. And of course, we still have generations that are still being raised without a very strong presence of what you're talking about. Somebody that they can mirror. They can look this person in the mirror and they can see a reflection of themselves, and they can understand certain things about their behaviors by observing this particular person. And I think what I talk about is that lack of validation. Because in my own life, and I was sharing this with my wife the other day, I realized that I will never understand validation. Validation is something that I have to fight to receive, because it was never part of my life upbringing growing up, because of the absence of both my mother and my father. And I realized that when people compliment me, and especially, with the earlier episode, I was chatting to Pastor Ronaldo Brown, the man that has been a big part of my life for a long time. There were so many things he would say to me that could never just go deep into my subconscious mind. Because first of all, he's a man, yes, but he's a stranger. And if I didn't hear these things from my family, then why should I, how do I process that? Yeah. And I think that's where the challenge is that as we're doing this Men of Change, here we are, we're trying to connect with these men, but a lot of them are not going to have the historical cognitive structure to process the things that we're going to be validating in them. How do we make sense of that?
That is powerful, because that has become a culture. Culture is currency, whether negative or positive. Culture is currency. Now, when you're talking about the invisible or vanishing father, we have a foundation of vanishing fathers that we're chasing after economic advantage. That becomes entrenched into our system. That becomes a genetic coding. That becomes part of our identity of how we run families. How we run families is through exposure. So it becomes a family trend. It becomes a family script. And then you have the foundation of this at the back of us. And suddenly you are successful as a man economically, which is what we're chasing. But we never thought that true success is the whole balance. You get the car, you get the house, you get there, you come out of the slums, you speak to your kids, you do this. We didn't have that. They were too tired, or they were not there. They were invisible. So we were role-playing invisible father syndrome. We were role-playing invisible boyfriend syndrome with our fathers. Our grandfathers will tell you that I only saw your father such and such a time. That is not just a culture now. That is an imprinting. That is a masculine frequency within us, that when you are trying to change, you're not trying to change an absorbed innate frequency that I just do like this. That's what we are doing. And then you come here and then we say, no, let's be men of change. Let's do. I'm fighting with systematic mental conditioning. That is systemic. It's not just it's systemized, it's contained. So our greatest challenge is getting men to talk. Michael Basil says men cry in the dark. And then we've got the man box, which is illegally given. Don't cry, suck it up. Now you want me to cry when you've trained me all my life that men don't cry. A real man sucks it up. You realize that we are confusing men because we've had a man box. We've raised men a particular way. And I'll speak within the Southern African context.
Yes.
Colonialism, and I don't want to throw a racial card, but people don't understand the mental erosion it did to black men's mentality. The corrosion. Do you know now, the greatest fear of any wife is their husband being a multi-millionaire success? Because the day a black person becomes a success, you know what it translates to in 80% of the times? Side chicks, other women, everything, because it's synonymous with a man making money who's black. 1, 2. I have observed how a black person is a sidekick, and I've observed how a white person is a sidekick. The culture is different. A white man, and trust me, you can check this. That's why I'm rated R. A white man does not dethrone the queen when he has a sidekick. A black man forgets his queen and crowns someone who came for the crumbs he's made at the expense of the queen. You will look at men giving 20,000 to side chicks who were not there when they were struggling and neglect the queen at home because of that scarcity mentality. Because now once I make money, I'm meeting a personal vendetta of dating girls that I know they're out of my league. Most men with money know that the girls they're dating now, they don't qualify for without their money.
Yes.
And they know it. All these is what I call menticide. All these are systematic, structured, masculine thinking patterns of people now. Then we are here. You think that when we are touching the hurting points of men watching us now, they will love us. You know what? They will swear at us, the medicine is working. You know why they're not like, it is working. I'm never moved. When a man swears at me, I say, that's the reaction I want. It shows that what I pricked you with has infected your system enough for me to be an annoyance.
Yeah.
For me, but I am reflecting as a mirror the dysfunction. I will say this, our generation now is not ready for us. They are too comfortable in the dysfunction. Your other guest says something deep, this bone in the mouth that they are carrying. They are carrying it and dropping it for illusions of bigger bones.
Wow. So
so much that they don't want to deal with their little bone. So for me, the masculine script we have is corrupted. Isaiah says the whole head is sick. The whole head is corrupt. The whole thinking capacity is corrupted. So for us to invite men and say, let's be men. There was a generation of blind people, sir. And one of the blind people came up with a cure. And says, guys, I can see. He cured himself first. Says, I can see. And he began to see and told them. They said, what are you saying? What is to see? He told them they killed him. They said, what are you saying? They killed him because they were addicted with being blind, that they didn't want anybody to disturb them from not seeing. That's what will happen to us. That's what's happening. Our men do not want to hear on how to be a real man. The gap is too far gone. And the ones who are teaching us to be men are literally fake testosterone freaks who have no ounce of masculinity themselves. And this is what is very terrible. When people are not men are trying to teach people how to be men. And you realize that the script that you're teaching masculinity is already leaking.
It's leaking already.
And you're trying to make me a man when you are failing that yourself. You said what? It takes a man to make a man. Show me a man. The highest thing that can cure us now. Show me one man now, say what comes to your mind. Think of one successful black man who's made money with a legacy. That you know that he passed it down and passed it down. Just think one name of a black family success, you will struggle.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle. Why? We don't have. Just to say, let me think of one successful black family now. That is, that was deep. We have legends, and we have a culture that says when a black man becomes a multi-millionaire, the next thing that takes over his finances and his successes are not the family; it is an institution or a foundation. So when he dies, it's the foundation running his wealth, not his kids, not his wife. It's a foundation that has become a curriculum. Patrice Motsepe is a foundation. That is big, managing his wealth. His wealth must not be managed by foundation. His wealth must be managed. The foundation should be the family. The family is the foundation for legacy. But we are not trained to participate on that economic scale because we are trained to acquire, but not distribute.
Not to distribute. I want to go back. there's a thought in my mind that I kind of got lost, stuck over there. One of the battles in the 12 battles of a man is the battles of lust. And, I always think about this unresolved childhood lusts, especially as a boy.
Come on.
The lust you develop when you're a kid, when you see that successful man, you're like, one day I'll be like that. Or what you've mentioned, when you're being rejected by these beautiful girls because you don't have the money, you don't come from the right family, or you don't even have the right skin tone, because colorism and all of that, or you're not handsome enough. And you have these unresolved lusts. And then one day when you get to that top of the mountain, when you have, let's say, whatever you feel qualifies you to be with this woman that you didn't eventually qualify for, you forget the queen.
You forget,
that you forget that woman that built with you, started with you, that accepted you when you were nothing. And my fear is that I think there's a certain negative association psychologically that you make with a woman that chooses you at your point of struggle.
Yes. That's
that you almost undervalue her, and you don't think that she's as worthy.
Yep.
Because she accepted you when you were in your own mind were not worthy of being accepted.
Yes.
And you almost don't like her.
Yeah, that's true. What you're saying is so deep because and this is where men must be mentored. There should be a rite of passage to becoming a man. You don't become a man by osmosis. You become a man. You are born a male. Then you become a man. And many of us are males stuck in transition. This thing you're talking about is a pandemic. And I call it the masculine debt. If there were 7 girls who broke your heart, or you knew you couldn't date here, it crushes you. And then, especially these boys who were not handsome when they were young. Then suddenly when they grow up, they start going to the gym.
Yes.
They start being noticed. You see the danger of a guy who's being noticed when he's now in his 30s, because your body is coming out. You are not used to being noticed. And you've got a man debt of all the unnoticed slips, invoices you have in your masculine safe. You have them all. Now, when they start seeing you, you forget the queen because there is a debt you feel you are owed. So dating these girls is literally an inner child issue that is messing with your adult issue. Remember, I always say this, everybody has 2 ages. You've got a psychological age and you've got a biological age. The contention of life is the contention between your biology and your psychology. You could be a 16-year-old boy that is a female vendetta, married to a woman who saw you. I'm coming to that one. Now, the problem is that, yes, now you've made it. You make it. You're self-made. You see yourself going up. And all these little girls at work, these interns coming in, are triggering inner child memory. That, this one reminds me of. That one now is out of your league. You don't even look at the one in your past. You don't even care about her. But this one takes you to her. And what are you doing? You are paying inner child debt at the expense of the adult. I say this, when your inner child's wildest imaginations become the grown man's deepest nightmares. Now, when a woman makes you and helps you, it is not by God's design for a woman to help a man become a man. Eve found Adam made. There was no participation of Eve in the making. She found a complete man made in her absence. When a man is not schooled, and when a man is not groomed, and then you start struggling with your wife, like Miles Monroe, who had the Holy Spirit to literally teach him how to be a man, because you will really know how to be a real man when you have an encounter with a spiritual mirror called the Holy Spirit. There you find. Now, sir, if a man stays with a woman who helps him and helps him and helps him, she ceases to be a wife and becomes a mother. A woman has to be 5 things, but majorly must never lose being your friend. That is the most important amongst the most important others. She must be your friend. You see, when you marry her, most women stop being your friend. They start being your wife. Then they become your children's mother, Mother Rose. And then there's a gap. There's a vacancy in your marriage. Yes, she's my best. She's my good woman, but she's not a friend. Or now she's mothered you too much. And we respect our mothers. We don't sleep with our mothers. We revere them. We put them in a high pedestal. And most men, when they make it, they will put the wife here and respect and still cheat. Why? You made me. I'm no longer loyal to your beauty. I'm loyal to your mothering. I'm loyal to what you've done to me. So when you find that as a man, that now your wife has helped you, and it is not godly, and that is the problem of our age. It's not godly for your woman to help you become a man. If a woman makes you become a man, she must be divine enough to know when to withdraw. So that, because I'll tell you, when I became a pastor, I wasn't working. I was preaching evangelist. I married my wife. She was already an auditor. She was moving. When I started making money, I was used to not making money. Now I'm making money married to her. I was used to say when there's nothing in the house, hey, there's nothing in the house. I was used to an electricity. I have a lot of money in the bank. I'm used now to say, what I want to do, I want to get the next outfits for preaching. I want to get the next things. You know what she did one day? She said, you are stuck in the mentality of not making money. You can. She withdrew. She said, no, man up. Let's sit and do budget. This is you. This is. Because remember, I was stuck on being taken care of by her. And you must be bothered as a man if you're comfortable waking up in the morning and you open the fridge and there's no food and you didn't buy, and you have a liver and pancreas to open fridge to check what's inside. When you are not working with your wife, you have to. There must be something in you. If you found that environment natural, you are no longer a man. It's not about how much she makes. It's about, does it bother you that she is hunting and you are not? We are losing the masculine instinct first. The loss of that masculine instinct is what bothers me before being taken care of. Because the enemy is attacking your ability to be a man, which is the masculine instinct. Which men no longer have. A man is comfortable doing nothing, going watching soccer, eating, and nothing. That when you get comfortable with that, you're no longer a man. And so and this is a clarion call to women. I'm going to say this. I'm not saying don't take care of your man. Do not help your man be a man. He will not respect you as a wife. This I can stand on. Let him be a man. And this is not about bills. I'm not saying go home and say I'm no longer. No, there's a dimension. You enter the equation of masculinity, and now you are assisting that sacred role. In him becoming a man, you've lost the ability to be his wife. You are now his mother permanently.
I mean, this is making me think of I think the conversation we're going to go into right now. There's this series I did the other day. It's called Boy, a boy, a boy, a boy, a boy and a man. And the idea here is just an observation. I mean, from all the therapy I've been doing as well, but also from my own side and from what I've seen, is that I suppose the pandemic has been, with the absence of many fathers, many of us were raised by single mothers.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I suppose because mothers tend to be quite nurturing in their approach and quite being very helpful, a lot of us would have been raised, or rather the foundational framework of the male-female relationship would be that the woman helps you and they do for you. And they create the space for you to be and to do whatever it is that you want. But there's a point where you are older, if you don't transition out of that. And one way you transition out of that is that, as we, with the previous episode, is with other men.
Yes.
Like men that you have not been, that you're not exposed to growing up, teaching you now.
Yeah. And make you uncomfortable.
How to be a man. Like, I mean, that's what I had to go through.
Yes,
even though I didn't have both my mother as well. But my manhood came with being around men who were men.
Yes.
And who were, for me, what manhood is that a big part of the trait is being a problem solver.
Absolutely.
Because when a problem comes your way, you got to apply your mind, think, how do I come up with a solution? And part of it is that if I need help, then you have to go and need help.
Yes.
And it is also being able to regulate yourself emotionally.
Absolutely.
Right? And realizing that there's a point where you have to accept that I'm not going to get certain things until I get them for myself.
Yes.
I get them done myself.
Yeah.
But I'm finding that with boys, that never happens.
It never happens.
They still see a woman as a helper, That's why they have the pancreas and the liver to open the fridge and eat the food that they didn't buy, and not feel guilty. And not that there's anything wrong with it.
Boy.
But be okay with the fact that the woman will buy groceries, and this is unfortunately true, and I've experienced it. I've counseled marriages where the woman would complain and say, I buy all the groceries in the home, and he buys an expensive pair of shoes, and he doesn't see anything wrong with that. He's okay with just coming into the home, and whatever money he makes is for himself, and he doesn't see anything wrong with the fact that I'm providing. And I realize that, well, he doesn't see anything wrong because actually that's what he knows.
Yeah, that's what he knows.
You know, he literally married his mother.
And if you don't, every man marries his mother. Yeah. If you want to see whether you are the right one for him or not, go and look at his mother. If he's a boy, be a mommy boy. I used to have a niece that used to visit us. He grew up in a house, Ukoko, his mom, and his sister. There were no men in the house. When he would visit us, the boy was a kulile, he was grown. He would sit on the toilet seat. When he's peeing, he would put the thing and sit, because that's what he saw. He had never seen a man standing up and pissing by pulling. So he saw women sitting, and allegorically, that's what most men raised by women do. They sit when they should stand. Pissing is a position that makes you a man or not. The Bible says, kill everything that pisseth on the wall. That is a position of a man. The enemy has conditioned and cushioned us with comfort out of manhood. That's what you're talking about. Where Ukoko does everything for you. Your temperature goes up, 13 Panadols are here. You can't even go sick because you have been, it's killing your masculinity. You don't know how to fight. And this thing here of emasculization, which is what I call polite, beautiful, beautified, lovey-dovey emasculization, has long-term effects for women who are looking for men because they are not there. The frequency is not at a masculine one. It's a I won't say that for your podcast, but it's a frequency where you look like a man, but the substance is not. And many women are even worried. There's another one. You will see this one, sir. The one raised by granny or boys. When there are those who can cook, who can clean the house better than you. Who literally can, when you marry this guy, the woman says, I can't be a wife. He does everything. That's the other coin to what you're saying. This guy is a clean freak. He will stay 30 minutes by the mirror, just one eyebrow. You wonder, the guy, he does not, you don't cook. Even if you want to, no, there's another effect again, where they can be so trained in being a woman, they've forgotten in being a man. And I don't say this out of gender attacking. No, I'm talking design denotes function. Your design denotes your function. You've got bigger lungs than your wife. You can take more air. Your lungs than your wife are bigger. That already tells you that there are things. That's why in winter you can remove your jacket and give her and stand it, because the woman's lungs are shorter than our lungs, because design denotes function. There are things that naturally are my job to do. You can't do what I do. I was designed by nature to be a man for you, and you're designed by nature to be a woman for me. So this one now, where men have been raised in a cocoon of being served couch potato type of a guy, where the wife does everything. Or we've got this one, where he's trying to clean the house, cook the food, so much that there is no space even for a woman in his life. Because now when a woman comes and says, I don't know what to do for him, he does everything. And it will frustrate a real woman, because a real woman has come to serve you with FNH while you reward her with yours. And now there's a conflict in marriages, and we are seeing this every single day. From the one who buys perfume and is used to you feeding, to the one who does everything, and when now you don't know what to do. You just sit in the house and you just watch. You're just part of the furniture in his house. There are men like that, who are literally so well feminized to feminine frequency. He's not gay. He's not homosexual. Nope. We have no indictment against that. But I'm saying, when it comes to a man pitching up, there's nothing. There's another extension of his mom, his sisters, his grand. There is no man. You remember when Simba lost Mufasa? And Simba had to go into the wild because of his uncle's car, which are the evil uncles. in our homes that have usurped and literally don't do what they is supposed to do. But Simba does not know who he is, has some wild animals who are his flange. Those animals are snacks for a lion, but they become friends with him. And he's searching for who he is. He's playing Simon and Pumbaa until one day he's drinking water by the stream. And he looks. He sees his father. Literally, when he looked in, he saw his father, but it was him. He had not realized how grown he had been lost. That when he drank the water and he looked, it was a split image of his father. It is at that point, if you watch other, not this new one, but if you watch the Lion King threads, you will realize that it is at the point when he looked at the water that he remembered his father. He looked into the sky and he heard his father talking. And his father says, Simba. And he tells him that you are king. And he tells him who he is. At the point he returns home to his throne, because it was at the point where he saw himself reflected in his dad that he remembered who he was. Can many of these boys do that? Most of the time when they look at their father, lava rises. They're angry. That man was a dog. They have vicariously carried the love of their mother to them. They are angry. You were not even there. Do you know that is not normal as a counselor? When I'm sitting someone angry with his father, you are angry with his father like he's fuming. He's never met him. The father impregnated the mother, disappeared. The guy is 35 years. He's angry at a man he's never met. You have not... anger should be relative. I can't just get angry as a stranger. That means a stranger, you've never known him. So it means that anger is not yours. You are carrying your mother's love. You are a graduate at UCT. A serious CA graduate. You drive a BMW, everything. Your father didn't have none of these things and you're angry at him. Are you realizing that this anger you are carrying is not yours? You have taken your mother's anger and made your anger, distracted it by facing your own inner demons, by carrying your mother's anger on a man you've never met. I would understand if a father who came in your life, raised you to 16 years old, then disappeared on you. On the day, I would understand that anger. Where now you've never met him. You've seen pictures, you boil. You realize that you are possessed by your mother's pain. I want to say this to your viewers, sir. Do not buy into the battles between your father and your mother. You are just a produce of an affair they had. You are the casualty of an affair they had. Both of them are guilty in bringing you here. So for you to leverage and say, Mom, yeah, your mom kept you, beautiful, but don't buy your father's war. Put a white line. There's a line for you not to cross, or you'll find yourself carrying warfare. That's not yours. You are always released from what you forgive. You become what you hate. And the same boys who hate their father have 7 girls in a line who've done that. I have seen it. Oopis is coming here. Where now you've got 7 boys who are looking for you. 7 boys who are crying. They are looking for you and you're saying my father was a dog. If he was, you are a Trinity one with 3 heads. Because how are you angry at your father for duplicating the behavior that you have created? And you blame him. He made me like this. Was he there? Did he raise you to say, no? The truth of the matter is family scripts, family trends, they avoid every David, sir, needs Nathan. Every David. This is the black plague of fatherlessness can be fixed. It can be fixed. Not everything that God wants you to become, put in your father. David had a father who didn't love him because of the conception and the matters surrounding his birth. He was okay. Black sheep. When Samuel went to visit him, told him, you're a king. Come home. Every man under the sound of my voice needs a man that can see your potential. The one that your father didn't see. And tell you, I'm taking out of these bushels. There is something bigger in you that your family may not see. Every man, I don't care who you are. I even say, sir, if I'm marrying women and I'm counseling, if this guy you are going to marry, if there's no one phone call, one number that you know when he's acting mad, which we will act mad, it's normal. They will come out and there comes a time where the animal comes on in front of your wife. Don't touch it. There must be a phone call that your wife can call that calms that lion quickly. If a woman is dating a man who there's no number that you can call to calm the beast when it comes up or when it's disappeared, and does not want to be bothered by nobody. But there's a number he cannot ignore. If a man doesn't have that, he has not arrived. He's not ready for marriage. Mm-mm. He's still a boy fighting in the field. There must be a phone number, sir.
I mean, it's one of the stories that I share a lot about my relationship with Pastor Ronaldo as well, which is that, my wife knows.
She knows.
My wife knows that I can ignore all the phone calls.
But there's a that's a man, sir.
But there's one phone call that
if it rings, you come out of the cave.
2 or 3 times, but at some point I know I have to answer.
That's manhood.
I know I have to answer that phone call.
How many men in this country have that? That's called a man that cannot submit to another man of authority. And guess what? We see it as a sign of weakness.
I mean, I think for me, it's a sign of first of all, awareness and accountability. Mm. And I think that for me, you mentioned a very important word. For me, that's a tamed lion. Mm. That's a tamed lion. Mm. I always say that there's no point in being a screaming rabbit. Mm. When the rabbit screams, do we even know that it's screaming? Mm-mm. It looks so innocent and so harmless.
Yeah, it's playing.
Like we're thinking that it's just making a cute noise.
When it's in danger.
You know what I mean? But a lion that is tamed, all of us don't forget. We don't forget that that's controlled strength.
Yes, controlled strength.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
But I want us to almost to come get to close it up a little bit. And I think one of the battles that I wanted to talk to you a little bit about is the battle of character. Mm. I mean, for me as a Christian, a big part of the character part, of course, is my submission to the word. Yeah. My submission to the men that God has put in my life and the structures of accountability and relationship God has put in my life.
That's character.
For you as a man, I mean, how do you have, first of all, do you wrestle with the battle of character? Mm. And if so, how do you then manage it?
Yes, I do, sir. Thank you for your question. There's a very serious issue. I just want to throw in that when you talked about lust, I remember I didn't answer that.
Yes.
A man's lust and a man's sexual drive, the proclivity for a man to bed many women will never leave him. I want to say this because we've taught from church a masculine script that does not exist from a moral perspective. Mm. And we've got men battling to fit in a moral frame of what a man can never be. This man we preach in church and we present a moral man that you will bury your wife and never look at another girl and make a covenant with your eye like a Job and say, I'll never. You see, I want to say this, sir. A man's proclivity to bed more than one woman does not leave him. A man's sexual drive and desire does not leave him. A man's desire is not a curse. A man's desire must be directed. Mm. You direct it. I'm coming to character. Mm. When you are in oblivion of your masculinity, a guy came to my office and said, put oil on me and pour a lot of it. I said, why, sir? He says, I have a weakness. I love women. I said, please pour on it. Also take the oil, pour on me also. I need to be delivered from that. Because he's saying, I have a weakness, I have a demon. I'm attracted to women. I said, your attraction to women is not demonic. Your failure to control your focus is your weakness. It's not spiritual. It's a temperamental issue. Mm. This thing to look at women, it's natural. It's natural. The control, you direct your desire. Not every erection is direction. We must make men know that, hey, listen, we are visual beings. Brickle your eyes. Control yourself. Make covenants with yourself. Grow your self-talk. And tell yourself, no. This is my personal mantra. When I'm driving or when I'm at the gym, I see an attractive girl. One look, I say, my wife will kill me. I continue training. I'm done. That's what I say. And I will kill me for sure. I haven't gone. I am gymming. I'm done. Why, sir? Because men end up living into false mirage of masculinity. You have to know that your sexuality is not a curse. Your desire to have more women is not a curse. That's why you're dying of prostate cancer, because you stop having sex at 40. And then now what do? You die, sir. But what you need to do is to tell the truth. I'm a man. I'm like this. I saw something with Kirk Franklin some years ago on Oprah when I was writing Demons. I loved it. He had a serious porn addiction long before he was married. The demons in a man's mind, sir. If you've not met a wife who you can confess of your struggles growing, she's not qualified. You say something with Umfundisi from the States that blew me out of the water. When he says you shouldn't confess everything. I agree with him 100%. And he said, tell everything. No, sir. There are things that it is you and God that should only know when you die. You give someone enough truth, they can handle. Some truth about you, they are not incapacitated to handle. Actually, can I say this? There's no human on earth that is the capacity to handle your truth. I'll say that again. There's no human on earth here who has the capacity to handle your truth.
The whole thing.
Nobody. That is why when we tell it with tech diplomacy, we are literally chiseling it to a level where you can handle it. The only person that can handle your naked truth is God. Once you find someone who has the grace to know enough of you to have you, that's enough. When it comes to character, when it comes to accountability, when it comes to growth, I will say this. It is a personal journey that you can't lie to yourself. I heard you said you can't lie to yourself. So all these things that you give people are things that you've been role-playing with you. Character. Character is the foundation of any person. If you have no character, you have nothing. Your character, you know it. So, yes, I do know. Every man must know his kryptonite. I say every hero is a kryptonite. All Superman's kryptonite, we know it. You need to know yours, sir. Kirk Franklin had a porn addiction, married that woman, tried for 10 years in marriage, going on the hotels, watching porn, until one day when the preacher was preaching, says, go and dig a hole and bury your porn. You know these rituals we do in church? Beautiful. He went and dug it 2 meters down the road, dug his porn. When he said, I'm free. 3 weeks later, sir, 2 a.m. at night, that thing rose in him, sleeping to a beautiful woman here. Listen to this. You are sleeping to a beautiful woman by your side, but the proclivity to entertain your mind with dopamine rises, sir. He went, it was raining. When he was digging, it's in his book, The Blueprint. When he was digging, sir, he looked at his hands with mud. He looked up and says, is this how low I've fallen? Took his porn stack. How do you bury porn? But you put nice plastic so that when you bury it, the sand mustn't. He took it and put it to his wife and says, wake up, we need to talk. He says, for years I've hid this from you. I have got this problem. The wife said, it's not your problem, it's our problem from now. Character. The things you cannot conquer by yourself will come to torment you when you share your life with someone. There are demons you must conquer before you invite someone to share your life. Or you can jeopardize someone else's life because you fail to conquer character issues, discipline issues, masculine issues, sexual issues, rape issues, childhood issues. So character is a result of what you've dealt with or not dealt with. Character is not a temperamental thing that you say, I choose to be. No, have you conquered? Have you fixed your foundations? Are the foundations that you stand on as a man, are they intact? Because if they are not, this is not a temperamental issue that you can say out of this. It's not even a discipline issue. It's a healing issue. Complete your journey. And healing is not even a destination. Healing is a continual journey that you make. So for me, sir, when you talk about character, character is something you do every single day. I love training. I go to the gym 5 days a week. She looks at me in winter. I wake up at 5:03. I'm running to the gym. She says, why? It's not about, I don't love it. I hate it. It's painful. It's not there, but I love being healthy. I love the pain that produces the product. That's that's character. And the same principle that I put in gym forces me to put in the other facets of my life. That's very important because a man that does not have a consistent routine in what he does, already character will fail you. Because character is a result of consistent routines that change you and become habits.
Sure. Well, we can sit here all day and talk about these things, but I do have 2 closing questions.
Yes, sir.
And I think the other one you've already partly answered. What have been your biggest battles with manhood? What have been, maybe let's say, 3 of your biggest, if you can get to that, 3 of your biggest battles, and how how have you been wrestling with that, and how are you managing those?
Identity. One has been the greatest message. It's been identity. I only was able to begin to unpack that in 2012. I went to Nigeria, a big conference.
Yeah.
A very big conference. It was beautiful. I was one of the guests. I preached there. I think I gave it my best. I was a young boy. I was preaching with big names I'd never seen. After I finished preaching, I was going on the day the host pastor called me to the office. We spoke. Says, thank you. You are growing. You're doing so bad. To me, I went a guest preacher there. When we were sitting, he says, yeah, I just want to ask you a question so that when we invite you next time, you come back fine. I said, yes, sir. He says, what's your message? I've been in this whole conference 3 days. The crowd was amazing. The guy's asking me, what's your message? Says, I looked at all your presentations when you're preaching here. They were beautiful sermons, but I didn't get your message. Says, your message, all your sermons were different expressions of scripture, oracle ability, but I didn't get your message. He says, you see, that guy there, his message is temperament. That one, his message is time management. That one is, what's yours? I didn't get that. It broke me. When I was flying back, it broke me to say, you mean to tell me that these guys paid this hotel, everything, and the guest preacher on the last day tells me, I didn't get your message. What's your message? And most people can't answer that. What's your message? The preaching, what's your message? And that was heavy for me. I broke down. I got home depressed. And I had to ask that, okay, I thought I'm preaching around, I'm being invited everywhere, but they don't know my message. And that's when I changed. Number one. So, and that was for my identity, because my message, if my identity is not defined, my message will not be defined. So he saw it that I was struggling to find my voice in my sermons. He saw that this boy is struggling to find himself in his message. Validation. He's not preaching to reach out. He's preaching to make the point. He's preaching to hit the mark. He gets in there, he says, these preachers who have a message, who may not sweat when they get there, but the message is heard. You sweat, you walk on the couches, everything, but they didn't get your message. They got the fascination, they got the cliches, they got the power punches, but didn't get the message. Number 2, self-acceptance has always been a problem for me. I suffer from a loss of esteem that still comes up even now. That's my greatest battle. So I realized this, that self-acceptance, looking at the man in the mirror and accepting myself, has been a very difficult thing for me. So I do have a loss of esteem. That is something I know. I'm conquering it. I've conquered it and I give what I do, but I do know that from time to time. I'm a bit very hard with myself, and I do have it. So I do realize that I do have loss of esteem. This, when I was, all my preaching styles, if you look at my videos from Longo, my preaching was very mad. My character trait was crazy. I one day painted my beards blue, going to a church, and my wife came to collect me. She opened, I was wearing a suit with blue beards. She said, "And this?" I said, "I'm going." She says, you are a pastor. You want to? I said, yes. She started crying. The only thing she cried, she took the phone call to my mom. Hear this. My mom was 1,182 kilometers. She took the phone, called my mom. In one phone call, my beards were all off. And she says, no, please. He has blue beards and he says, we are going to church. This is preaching this evening. And he wants to preach with blue beards. But now I was investigating, why do you want blue beards? Of all beards. Yeah. And you look at validation, that loss of esteem that I had, and she kept saying, but you're enough. What
yeah, what do we hear?
She's asking, but you're enough. She would ask, but what are you looking for? I'm saying, no, I want to be powerful. Kanjan, you're traveling. Yeah. You are saying you want to be powerful, but it's never enough. So if you're asking the third one, the second one is that the third one, it's quite hard for me to answer that one because it's a bit sensitive, but I'll answer. The third one is making peace with my history. It's especially the past that I come from. I come from a past that is very hard to reconcile. It was easy. I wrote that book. Oh, come on. I wrote that book about being molested by a woman, molested by a man, going growing up. I wrote, that's a manual for broken men. That book, I wrote it with tears. When I wrote that book, she says, don't write as a pastor. Because when I started writing the book, I started writing. She took the manuscript, says, I don't want the intellect here. You see, you're now writing it with. No, she says, no, I want you. Because when you look at your other books, you're seeing a scholar, a pastor. She says, it was difficult because I had to be personal, have that broken I wrote that there. And she says, write it from a place of pain. I realized that reconciling my past is my lifelong battle. And I preach, I touch people, I do everything, but I go back and bleed. When I was growing up, I used to hear T.D. Jakes saying, lead while you bleed. When he was having a pastor's conference. But I think, with all due respect to the old man, a great guy. But to lead while you bleed is the most dangerous thing for a leader. Leading while bleeding, you leave blood prints on the people you are mentoring.
Sure.
They must never be blood prints on mentorship. When you realize that there's a wound come out of the mentoring, because you will pollute or you will literally leave blood prints on that thing, and your blood contaminates and your blood has a voice. So in mentorship, and that is why I stopped church. I stopped having a huge church. I preach online, I travel, because the only time I will go back into full-time ministering a church is when I know that I don't have blood prints. Because right now, I can tell you, I'm leading while I'm bleeding. There are demons in my own. You see, I've conquered in my home with my wife, but I've not conquered in the home I come from. I close with this. For everyone under the sound of my voice, there are 3 homes that every one of you have. Whether you agree to it or not, they will influence you now. 1, there's a primary home, sir. And the primary home is the home where your father and mother comes from, where you come from. That's your primary home. 2, you have a secondary home if you're married. You and your wife are not creating a primary home. You are creating a secondary home, which is a primary home for your children. And then 3, you've got a spiritual home, which is your church. There are things that we've been taking to our spiritual home that does not have the jurisdiction to handle. That must be handled in your primary home. And I keep seeing this mistake. You are buying your spiritual father a house when your own father has no house. You are buying your own. What are you doing? And then now when there's a problem at home with your wife, you go to your pastor who has 17 problems with his wife. When you should take that thing to a primary home issue, because your marriage is not yours. You are a custodian of the marriage of the custodians of the name you carry. And when your marriage is a problem, let the owners handle it. And for me right now, I've conquered battles in my secondary home that I have not been able to conquer in my primary home because I have no jurisdiction. My parents are alive, they are bigger. There are demons which I cannot cast out because I know that I'm in rank, in file. I can't address that issue and that issue and that issue, and I'm praying for it not to come in my sons. When I look at that, that becomes my greatest struggle. Reconciling certain issues from my past that will threaten my children. You will never find the children of David fighting giants, sir. None of David's children. Why? He killed all the giants of his lifetime not to extend the battle to his children. So nobody, Solomon is not fighting a giant. Absalom never. Why? David killed all the giants because he was anointed for giants. The giants your father fails to slaughter will come after you. When Mephibosheth was running away, it was the Philistine that killed his grandfather, that killed his father, that was now after him. And the maid dropped him from an enemy that killed the grandfather, the father, and was after him. And that is our battle now. There are Philistines that dealt with our grandfather, dealt with our father, and they didn't kill them in their time. And that becomes an extended battle to mine. I have my battle, my grandfather's battle, my father's battle all after me. You are still paying the bond of your father that he failed to pay off in himself. And now you're still helping him. You are paying for your siblings' fees that your father should have finished paying. You are realizing that an elongated battle is eating the currency that your children will need to make into the future. Those are the battles for me that are very difficult to bet, extended battles. I feel like we're in church.
This is church. It's got to be church. At the end of the day, this is what it's about. I mean, it's a platform for me as a Christian. That's what I want. I want to really speak about it from that perspective. We didn't get a chance to talk about the spiritual battle, but I'm going to have you back
Yes, sir.
to talk about
Which is the ultimate battle. Your spiritual battle.
For me, that is the one battle that when you come back, he's still in the room, guys, Pastor Ronaldo. When you come back next year up here, we're gonna speak about the spiritual battle, because I think for me, I mean that's a huge, because ultimately that's the battle of being.
Yeah.
More than identity, that is really the total battle of being.
A spiritual battle.
Well, Vincent, it's been amazing, man.
Than't you, sir.
It's been amazing, Zwane. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for...
It's an honor.
For answering the call to battle within and to share the battles within with us, so that we can learn a lot from your own battles and how you share so generously from your experiences. I think that's very, very helpful. So thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Look forward to more. I'll definitely be having you back.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
You.
To Arise Studio and to you guys at home. But let me start with Arise Studios. Guys, thank you so much for having us and hosting this podcast today. We really, really appreciate it. It's been a long day, I can tell. But I hope you've also enjoyed listening and hearing from our guests today. And to you viewers at home, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button and to share your comments with us and tell us what stood out for you, what really spoke to you a lot. From me, Jabu Zwane, this is Men of Change podcast, where men learn to become the change that they want and also contribute to the change that they want to see in society. Until next time, God bless you. Peace.